I think in recent years, Hong Kong has been under pressure to increase the transparency around beneficial ownerships. It's due to the Hong Kong's role in the international finance and the increasing global demands for the tighter anti-money laundering regulations. But the challenges, just like other countries, the challenges come from the privacy concerns as well as the implementation challenges. Especially local culture, it play a critical role in this as well.
Hey guys, welcome back to Registries Revealed, brought to you by Kyckr, the show in which we deep dive into a different country's corporate registry system each week. Last time round we covered Singapore, our first Asian jurisdiction, and we're staying in that part of the world this week to take a look at Hong Kong. To dig under the surface of Hong Kong's ICRIS registry, I'm joined by founder and CEO of AsiaVerify, Ficoal Dong. Ficoal's a business data expert who spent 6 years building solutions to help regulated entities verify businesses across China, Hong Kong, Japan, and many more. He's also a long-time Kyckr partner, helping us to widen our global offering to our customers and our partners alike. If anyone knows about the intricacies of doing business with Asia, it's definitely Ficoal and his team. So let's see what Hong Kong's got to offer, shall we? Ficoal, welcome to the show. Those who are listening aren't familiar with AsiaVerify. Tell us a little bit about your background and how you've been involved in working with the Hong Kong registry.
Thanks so much, Steve. Really glad to be here. My name is Ficoal Dong. I'm the founder of AsiaVerify. I have been working in the compliance industry almost 20 years. I'm from Asia, so being in Asia gave me a great opportunity to stay close with the region's regulatory landscape. AsiaVerify is my third startup. We're based in Singapore. We focus on providing real-time company information and instant UBO discovery. So right now we cover 14 jurisdictions across Asia. Hong Kong is one of them. We do have the data over 450 million companies. So we support customers from 17 countries. My experience with Hong Kong registry, which is commonly known as ICRIS, started in 2019. When AsiaVerify starts providing real-time KYB service, Hong Kong was the one of the early demanding jurisdiction. So when we're talking about experience, we have to mention the big revamp of the ICRIS system happened in 2023. So the experience before and after revamp is quite different, right? We have to understand that ICRIS was introduced in 2005. So the implementation to ICRIS is to transition the company registry's operation from a paper-based system to an electronic platform. So if we are talking about experience before the revamp, we're talking about a system built in 2005. There's no modern design, but however, it did a great job to support the most use cases when it comes to compliance, control, and risk mitigation. So the old ICRIS system, the users could search and purchase company records without needing to register their annual account. So company basic information, like a company name, registration number, business status, are free. Right? So users are now even required to submit their personal identification to purchase a company records. And even more, the information about the directors and the shareholders could go down to the detail level to their full government ID and the address. So the old ICRIS system provides very easy access with a very detailed company and the individual records. So that helps our AML professionals to assess a company and tracking the beneficial owners. So after 18 years operation, the old ICRIS system has been revamped eventually in December 2023. So the new ICRIS system, they introduced a lot of big changes. The web design, the workflow has been improved, right? So the new interface is much modern and user-friendly. And the new ICRIS system also consolidated various electronic services into one single integrated platform, which is great. Right? It just allows users to access different services to a unified user account. And another very important improvement it is for the very first time, the Hong Kong government introduced the UBI, which is a unique business identifier. So as the part of the revamp, the business registration number, which we call the BRN, was adopted as a UBI for all the companies and entities in Hong Kong. The last point, the new ICRIS system also introduced several amendments to improve the system security and the information privacy protection. So we used to get the full ID number and address for the directors and the shareholders. It is not anymore in the new system. So generally speaking, my experience with ICRIS is really positive. Just the challenges after the revamp, it may create challenges to AML professionals, especially on tracking beneficial owners.
Yeah, I think anybody that's used ICRIS before the change and after the change, as I certainly have, would really notice the difference. So like you said, it was definitely showing its age, I would say, on the occasion that I needed to query it. Quite an old school style website, quite difficult to navigate, with the types of very fast and very easy to operate websites we're now used to. So that was a big change, but it's interesting, like you said, that was used as an opportunity to make some other, maybe more wide-reaching changes as well. So, just playing back some of what you've said there, it's been a theme, I think, across some of our episodes in this series, talking about how some registers are becoming more transparent and making more information available, and others are perhaps going in a slightly opposite direction and actually leaning into data privacy. So interesting when you're talking about some of the director and shareholder information, clearly moving towards a situation where individual privacy is being favoured more. But again, positively on the UBI side, maybe not something we've talked about a huge amount yet on the series, but having a business identifier, sure you'd agree, Ficoal, really, really important for matching entities and being able to draw linkages, not only across countries, but also within a country as well. So, that sounds like certainly a really positive step in helping AML professionals with their tasks.
Exactly. The unique company identifier, it helps a lot, especially when it comes to connecting companies together. We always encounter the issues when we're using ICRIS before. There's no registry in the world is perfect, right? When it comes to the data. Sometimes we find the mistake on the company records, right? So it does stop us to make the connections together. So by introducing the unique business identifier, it definitely helps us. And also, importantly, we can connect the Hong Kong company to overseas companies, for example, China mainland, right? So it really helps a lot.
Moving on from that point then, just thinking about the usefulness, I guess, of ICRIS as a tool for AML professionals. So some of the other registries we've talked about, some of them are just websites and you query the information that way, but we've often seen examples of registries that make APIs available, or bulk data sets can be downloaded, which can be very useful for things like ownership investigations as well. How useful do you think ICRIS is, and how much of that functionality is available directly from the register versus maybe needing to use a vendor or an organization like AsiaVerify to help out with some of that data formatting and normalization?
As far as I know, I don't think they are providing direct API to connect with their database. And then there also a complexity behind of the company information. There's two main government agencies in Hong Kong. One is we call the CR, another is BR. There is a bulk data download from Open Hong Kong Data government site, but it is only for the really limited data, literally just index data, right? So not like other countries, if you want to get a full insight of a company information in Hong Kong, you still have to follow the Hong Kong ICRIS portal, the terms and the conditions, register accounts, and the purchase reports over there. So the limitation, beside of the API, the access, there's still quite limited information on the financials. And also, after revamp, there's restrictions to access to the sensitive information. We were talking about shareholders, right? It's a very essential information for UBO discovery without the unique identifier of an individual AML professionals kind of facing more challenges to link the things together.
And you've done some interesting work with your team, haven't you, on extracting some of that information from documents. So I think if we are, if we're looking at the role of someone conducting KYB and needing to analyze an ownership structure, yes, there's some information that's available on screen, but where that might be buried in documents, then clearly someone would have to go through and read those, pull that information out, key that information into their system. So maybe talk us through some of your work there, because I know there's some interesting things that are going on in terms of your ability to extract that data and make that more usable.
Yeah, sure. We just like others, right? So we have no very unique secrets. We can get very unique opportunity to get into the data, which is we follow all the rules from ICRIS as well. But however, we just leverage our technology as much as possible, like reading the documentations, structuring the data. We talk about like an annual return in Hong Kong in ICRIS. It is a big challenge to your OCR technology. That is because in the really old forms, it's not always well structured, the data, and some information on the form is handwriting, right? So they're going to create challenges to the technology. But we spend like quite a lot of time to improve our OCR technology to extract the data. And another thing is the UBO discovery. There's no open like a register for the beneficial owner in Hong Kong. They do, but they are not open for the public, right? So for the other AML professionals, if you want to understand a UBO of a company, whether it's a manual process, whether you just leverage technology like algorithm, that is what we have been working on in last 2 years as well. We extract the data from the legal forms, and we put that data into algorithm to draw the ownership graph, and we analyze the ownership structures. We help the professionals to track all the way down to the UBO, whether it's in country and cross-border. So the main technology we're using behind of that, we do introduce a lot of kind of AI models to help us to improve the efficiency, stability, and accuracy on the data extraction.
And I was going to ask you, actually, that's probably a good lead in to what the environment looks like in Hong Kong around UBO disclosures and UBO registers. So you mentioned earlier that there is a register that's not publicly available. Just maybe tell us a little bit about that and when it was set up.
I think in recent years, the Hong Kong has been under pressure to increase the transparency around the beneficial ownerships. It's due to the Hong Kong's role in the international finance and the increasing global demands for the tighter anti-money laundering regulations. In Hong Kong, the framework for the UBO transparency is established to the requirements for companies to maintain the significant controller register, right? So this mandate is effective from the March 1st, 2018. The aims to enhance the corporate transparency and align with the international regulations. So again, it's a pressure, right, from the outside and the inside. Definitely the Hong Kong government is seeking for a better way, a better solution to transparent the UBO information. But the challenges, just like other countries, right, the challenges come from the privacy concerns and as well as the implementation challenges, especially local culture. It play a critical role in this as well. The Hong Kong local companies, they are just on the culture, not feel very comfortable to open up their company information, which is a privacy, to the public. And also from the implementation part, it is still quite tricky. How you can ensure the significant controller register is accuracy, right? Some entities in Hong Kong, it may be the trust. Maybe they are using nominee shareholders or other intermediaries to mask the true ownership. So very difficult for government to ensure all the information in the register is valuable for the AML professionals. Yeah, so generally the environment in Hong Kong about UBO transparency is evolving, but it's still gonna need more time for the government to think a better way to open up the UBO information.
You touched on a little bit there about the quality of the data and the extent to which you can trust the information that's being filed. And that touches on another classic topic we've been covering in this series, which is around the extent to which registries are verifying the information that's submitted. Now, helpfully, actually, Business Registry Insights published their 2024 verification of data survey recently and has some really good stats about Hong Kong. So I've just pulled out a few. So register of disqualified entities and sanction lists are cross-referenced at the point of registration. So that's something we have seen a lack of in other registers we've covered. But still no automated or telematic checking of additional sources. So that's where it ends. There is identity verification of directors. And I think we were saying earlier that's a relatively recent introduction in line with other countries that are bringing in that IDV. But no verification of the person who submitted the filing, such as corporate service providers, for example, which came up to a significant degree when we covered our episode on Singapore as well. So, as always with the many registers we've covered, it sounds like a few ticks in the boxes, but as per usual, different cultural, and operational execution concerns, as you mentioned on that particular point. Now, I also wanted to just come back to something you said around the way you're helping and looking at building out some of those ownership structures using those shareholder declarations. I'll admit my knowledge of foreign direct investment in and out of Hong Kong is probably quite limited beyond knowing that it is a financial hub and an area of key interest for many of us working in financial services. When you are helping to unwrap these ownership structures for clients, where are you seeing foreign ownership coming from? Is it, I imagine quite a bit of it will be coming from mainland China, or are there other Asian jurisdictions as well that you need to procure data from?
It's very dynamic markets in Hong Kong, especially in the recent years. Post-COVID, the booming industry like e-commerce still, right, and online shops. So we are offering quite a lot of merchant verification and merchant boarding for some payment companies. So the UBO is definitely one of the key consideration before the payment company can onboard a merchant in Hong Kong. From our observation at the moment, of course, the Hong Kong is next to the mainland China. There's so many connections between two jurisdictions. At least it is hundreds of thousands companies between two jurisdictions that are linked together. And another, just give the very special position of the Hong Kong at the moment. Hong Kong is linked to the world. I will say still quite a lot of companies, they do have a foreign shareholders, right? It just brings us back to the UBO discovery. In-country UBO, you can download all the AR to kind of find the link, the trees between companies. But when it comes to overseas, the things is quite challenging, right? The different languages, they are using the different format of the names. So how you can breed the linkage, it is a challenge to your data and to your technology, right? So that is why we still spending and investing a lot of time and money in the tool like this, trying to mapping everything together for our users.
Great. Well, I'm going to let you go in a second, Ficoal, but I'll leave you with one final question, which is what are your top tips for AML analysts that are verifying businesses in Hong Kong?
It is really based on the use cases and the purposes, right? So if the AML professionals is looking for the basic company informations and all the legal documentations, I will say ICRIS is the only resource they should go to. Everything's official and up to date. And now it's a very modern design, good user experience, very easy to use. But the challenge behind of that is still we touch a lot of UBO discovery a lot today, right? When it comes to, because it's just a privacy thing, they are not showing the full credentials of the individuals. It creates challenges to AML professionals to understand the potential risk, the potential UBO of a company. So if you just need the basic information, go to ICRIS, do yourself. If you want more, if you want a UBO discovery, if you want a monitoring a company, if you want to put the names into AML sanctions or those media to ensure 100% safe, I'm gonna recommend probably you want to consider a service provider who have the technology can help you to unwrap the ownerships and help you to structuring all the data for your report and for your risk mitigation.
Ficoal, thank you so much. Really, really interesting insights yet again. If our listeners want to find out more about AsiaVerify or get in touch with you, what's the best way for them to do that?
Well, the best way, please just check out our website, the www.asiaverify.com, simple like that. And we share quite a lot of information and knowledge, what we gathered in past 2 decades about regulation in Asia.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Steve.